Welcome to Be a Voice. This is Britt Carpenter on Usula Media. Thanks for joining me today. Over the next few weeks, I'll be showing you some of the things that are going on right in the Kensington neighborhood of Philadelphia. A lot of people know about Kensington because all you have to do is Google Kensington and know about it. There's a lot of people out there that are showing parts of Kensington that are what we consider trauma porn on YouTube, showing people at their most vulnerable, showing people that are affected by the substance use disease and disorder that's going on. But more so what they're doing is they're showing a neighborhood that's been forgotten by the city. My nonprofit, Philly Unknown, runs a community garden right in the heart of it all. We run a little bit of magic in the midst of all the chaos here on Roost Street. Roost Street has been a street, it has been a street for years that was a residential street, that people were outside, they were connecting, children were outside playing, and there was very little trash and very little thoroughfare. Since the Gurney Street tracks have been turned over years ago, Roost Street has become a major thoroughfare for those who are unsheltered to travel from Allegheny to Lehigh. It keeps them off the avenue, it keeps them not visible by a lot of people, and they travel undetectedly under the radar. So it's become a thoroughfare, and the street itself has become pretty much a zone for trash. It's become an area that's undesirable to the residents. A lot of residents have moved out. A lot of the houses remain empty. There's a lot of trap houses right here on this block nowadays. A lot of trap houses everywhere in Philly nowadays. It's the sad part of it all. But as I look across the street right now and I see what's going on, you know, this is an August morning. This is a morning where it's beautiful out. The wind's blowing. It's a great day. Kids should be outside playing. You don't see that here in Kensington. And that's part of the issue. Part of the issue is people forgot about the humanity that goes on behind the residents that are living here in Kensington and what they're dealing with. People forgot about those who are unsheltered and that are laying sprawled out on the sidewalks that are due to the substance use disorder that they have and due to the opioid epidemic that the city is doing very little about. Yes, the city forms their committees, they form their task forces, they have meetings, they talk about it once a month, but very few times do I see them out here on the streets walking the talk. Most of the times that's all they're doing is talking. You know, we don't see a lot of politicians come down here unless it's time for election or photo ops. We don't see a lot of activity down here other than the groups, the organizations like Philly Unknown, Operation Save Our City, Operation In My Backyard, Savage Sisters. There are so many groups, the Everywhere Project, one of my favorites. There are so many groups, and as the train goes by, most people here learn to call it the Kensington pause and stop and talk. Most people who know it, though, just learn to talk louder. So, did we pick that up? Look at that. You learn how to talk with the train going by, with the L going by during the day or at night. However, once again, you know, this is a neighborhood that's forgotten about. And I was mentioning the organizations that come out here and they're fighting the fight. They're fighting for those that are unsheltered. They're fighting for the residents to have the resources they need to just live on a day-to-day basis. The city's not doing this, we are. And we're hoping to showcase over the next few shows some of the good things happening here in Kensington, some of the positive things, some of the things that were taken from a negative, like the trash buildup, and making positive out of it, like beautified green spaces like the Roost Street Garden that I keep looking around as I'm talking because it's just a beautiful place to be. We can check out different aspects of it from neighbors who are fed up with what's happening out here to some of the outreach workers who are doing the jobs on the streets, the advocates. There are so many great people doing great things over here that the city should be doing, and they're not. And that's what we're going to showcase over the next few shows. So stay tuned, stick with us, and we're going to show you some good stuff.
Hi, my name is Michael Worthy. I'm a co-director from Philly Unknown Projects, and its initiatives. And I'm also a recovering individual, coming out of a 30-year addiction. And now I'm coming up on 15 years clean and sober. And I chose to use service as a component of my recovery process. And that service began at my community church, where I go in on Saturdays and prep everything for the Sunday morning service. That was just the beginning of my service. And also I connected myself with multiple organizations, multiple nonprofit organizations, just to be giving back, because I believe truly that in order for my process to prosper, that it comes out of what I'm giving. So now I'm here with Philly Unknown at its garden, and this is where the majority of my service work today is located. I joined Philly Unknown because I needed a place of peace for myself and a sanctuary just specifically for me. And this gives me that while we build up the garden for this community in a neighborhood that is filled with blight and uncertainty. It's a bright spot that shines within it. I find comfort and peace here. It takes away a lot of the fear, and helps me manage a lot of the anger and the frustrations of even being in recovery, because whether you want to believe it or not, even people that are in recovery are still being frustrated by the day-to-day living. So I find a little bit of peace here, just enough to keep me balanced, where I don't lose sight of what my prospects are. And my prospects are being a community advocate, being a harm reductionist, and being a voice for the voiceless. In my experience, I have watched the harm that's associated with individuals who are experiencing homelessness, addiction, and mental health disorders. My job is to get to the heart of the matter, get to the core of what that disease is. And that core is usually not about the drug, but it's about the harm, the pain, the anger, the abuse, and the trauma that's being held within. So I try to cut through the heart of that, to make a place where recovery can be possible.
One of the organizations out here doing the work that needs to be done is called Savage Sisters. Savage Sisters was founded by an amazing person by the name of Sarah. Sarah is a person in recovery. She is a person who knows the streets of Kensington all too well, and she has started her organization and her team to be able to get out here and help those that need the help the most. We were fortunate to be able to sit down with Sarah and talk to her about her mission, about what she does, and about her new initiative of the storefront that she opened up that provides resources, wound care for those that are affected by tranq that's happening out here, the xylazine that you've been hearing about, and just plain hygiene aspect by providing showers, by providing a safe place for those to sit and get out of the heat. We're going to hear from Sarah. I hope you enjoy it.
My name is Sarah Laurel. I'm the founder and executive director of Savage Sisters nonprofit. We do a couple of things. We have 10 sober living homes for our friends in recovery. We do nationwide trainings on harm reduction, xylazine, drug trends, and updated overdose reversal. And we have street-based outreach and a drop-in center in Kensington offering showers and wound care to our friends.
What made you start this?
In 2017, when I got into recovery, I honestly just wanted to have one house for me and my friends that felt safe, and it just developed kind of organically. When I moved back to Kensington, I started doing outreach from my stoop and the trunk of my car, and somehow all this just kind of got dropped in my lap. So,
what was the reason that you became the voice that you became on everything? Because you come from Philadelphia to Washington and you speak on this. What made you become that voice?
I just said stuff as it happened. When it was put in front of me and put in my lap, I responded accordingly. And I think for a very long time, I had my voice stifled, and it felt nice to be able to say out loud the things that were harming my friends and my community. And as I grew and felt more empowered saying those things, that message got more and more clear. Doing the work clears the message up.
It's interesting when you and your team do outreach here in Kensington, when you do it in Pearson, when you do it in Allegheny, wherever it is you do it, you have a team that goes out and cleans.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the trash situation over here and how it's developed and what the city's doing about it?
I think that the city is attempting with CLIP to try and clean things up. However, I think that it's a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. When you have 800 unhoused individuals, the trash is going to continuously pile up. I think we need to come together as a community. I think community organizations need to do a street cleanup. I think the neighborhood has to take their part in it as well, and I think the city really needs to have some progress as far as having access to trash cans and dumpsters and, different things that would promote public health within this particular neighborhood. There are no other neighborhoods in this community in Philadelphia that look like this. It's intentional, it's calculated, and it's very sad.
So it's interesting you said that it's intentional. What makes you think that it's intentional?
Because it's been happening for decades. So
Almost like what's almost like the drug epidemic, from the crack to the heroin to right now the xylazine. And you become very much a voice for the xylazine. Can you just tell me a little bit about xylazine and what it is and what it does and how you've been working towards educating people on it and treating?
xylazine is an animal-grade tranquilizer. It came into the drug supply about 6 years ago as an adulterant, and it was adulterating like the heroin fentanyl supply. It has kind of changed and progressed over time. It is now the supply. We're looking at samples that have between 50 to 70% xylazine to like 3 parts fentanyl. It has a lot of public health consequences. I don't think that anybody knew what would happen to our friends or the community with this substance coming in, but it has a lot of body consequences. We have no human studies on it, so we're on the ground doing the best that we can, but a lot of our friends can develop certain types of wounds that can lead to infection and potentially amputation. So we are on the ground trying to provide more public health resources to lower the rate of infectious diseases spreading and just treat our friends the best that we can.
You run one of the most successful and on-the-streets organization in Philadelphia at this point. In addition to it, yes, you do. In addition to it, you are one of the leaders in community advocacy for recovery and speaking out on what's going on around here. Not just that, in the last 7 years, it's me and everybody else. And if you look around, we know this. And I understand your humbleness, and I love that. But I'm talking not from an ego standpoint. I'm talking from a realistic standpoint. You are amazing out here, what you do. 7 years ago, you went into recovery. After recovery, after your treatment, you went into a sober living home here in Kensington. After that, you moved out of Kensington for a while, and you moved back into Kensington. So you are living in Kensington. Mm-hmm. You are stationed in Kensington with your organization. You're on the streets. This is a daily thing for you. How does it affect you personally, and what do you do to yourself to be able to stay balanced and grounded?
I think first of all, I have my own program and therapy and personal spiritual practices, and I'm kind of attempting to balance things out. I definitely have to work on my self-care. It is a lot to live and work here and to kind of digest other secondhand traumas on a regular basis, but I think I cannot own these situations. I show up, I do the best that I can that day, and I keep it moving. I do not think that there is much else that can be done about it. As far as staying present here, I could be pulled in a million different directions. So one of the biggest things that I do is I stay focused on what my mission is. A lot of people are like, open 20 houses here, do this, do that, but I want to stay small. I don't want to be the McDonald's of harm reduction. I don't want to grow without the right support. I want to stay local. I want to stay relevant. I want to be Philly born and raised, and I want to help my community. And when I stay zeroed in on that mission and zeroed in on the people that I want to serve, it's a lot easier. I can't go too big. I lose effectiveness that way. And that's pretty much it.
Well, if anything, you give people a lot of hope.
Stop. Hope. Yeah, we out here spreading hope, bitch.
Or hope dealers, baby.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm not hopeful, I'm busy. I tell you this all the time. I'm not hopeful, I'm busy.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time and doing this with us.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I love you. This was just a little piece of what's happening down here in Kensington. There's some really great stuff happening. There's some really not so great stuff happening. We really need to sit back, we need to peel some layers, and we need to see exactly what the humanity is going on down here in the Kensington area. And I want you to stick around, and I want you to follow these episodes over the next few weeks and check it out. Once again, we're going to see the good, the bad, the indifferent. So stay tuned, stick with us, and thanks for always tuning in. Thanks to Sarah Laurel from Savage Sisters for sitting down with us and talking. Thanks to Michael Worthy, my right-hand man at Philly Unknown, for sitting down and talking. And thanks to all you for tuning in. Once again, this is Britt Carpenter on Usula Media. Have a great day, and whatever it is you stand for, be a voice.